Okay, we're over here at the work table, and as you see, I've got the rotary laid in here backwards from the way it was oriented yesterday, and with the way that it's painted up, it's upside down. But I had to do this, and pay attention, xTool, if you're watching. Your air assist is over here and sticks out way past the laser module. And whenever this is laid in the bed correctly, the chucks on the rotary hit the air assist and take up a ton of the amount of engravable space because of interference issues. By rotating this, I've eliminated that and taken those out of the equation. Now I just have to figure out, this is why I said I've got to figure out what needs to be mirrored and changed and inverted, because I've got the rotary upside down. I don't know how that's going to change things. All right, so, but I've got, and the other thing that xTool you can do to make this better, if you see here, I have put a piece of tape on here and put a mark here. Now, from this angle of the camera, it might even appear like it's slightly downhill, but if you come up directly over the top, that mark I have put at top dead center. That way I know when my laser is at top dead center on my engraving surface. So if you're paying attention, xTool, those are some possible improvements. And this is a shameless product placement. I'm not paid by anybody, including xTool, to mention their name. Not paid by Entenmann's, but hey, this is an ad that you can't turn off. So Entenmann's, if you're paying attention, send me some free minis. I like the apple snack pies. All right, so back to our engraving. So I've got this set up in the center of my work bed. I've got the laser moved to the center position in the work table. I have the laser focused, and I'm ready to frame it and send this job to the laser. Now we just got a question to see how much effect that tape has, if any, on the engraving surface. So we'll let this run, and we'll come back and see what we got. Okay guys, mid-video during today's recording, I got an alert. I got a comment from yesterday's post regarding engraving glass with an award-winning comment from one Mr. Stephen Wright. Let's take a look at what he has to say here. Have you thought about using the chucks from the inside of the glass or tumbler and expanding it outward to hold? I knew that and didn't even think about it. I have inverted my jaws, the clamps on the rotary. So now I am clamping the glass from the inside. You still have a little protrusion here, but not like I did. But it's not going to be as much of a factor as it was. I still have the rotary set up, inverted, rotated. But yeah, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate the comment and giving you the props for that. I did know that would do that. Just forgot about doing it. You can also, for those that aren't aware, you can take this motor off the platform, rotate the whole thing, and that way you can engrave glasses with handles by just having it hang off the side of the platform, and you have plenty of room for the handles to rotate. These rotaries are pretty, they've thought of most everything, I still would like having a top dead center mark so that it just lines up real easy with your crosshatch, with your laser, and you know that that you are in the right position vertically when it comes to doing engraving. But thank you, Stephen Wright. I did make that change, and I was extremely impressed with the first test. I thought I was going to go down in speed, but this did so well, I'm actually going to increase the speed and see what happens. So stay tuned. And for that award-winning comment, Mr. Stephen Wright, you can have a free t-shirt, and just got these in today too. Check out my wood, hobo with wood. If you wouldn't be embarrassed to wear that around with your wife or your girlfriend, drop me an email and I'll send you a free t-shirt. Okay, so this test is going to be the same exact settings, except I've turned the air assist on to see if I notice any difference between the two. That first one had a really lot of positive outcomes there. I'm surprised at how well this did using just painter's tape. It's a whole lot simpler setup than using that cold galvanizing compound. So this is the trick for doing glass. All right, so thanks to Stephen, I did invert my jaws. I've got everything set up. Let's check the frame. It looks good. Let's send it. Now, I am not sponsored by anyone up to this point. I was contacted by one manufacturer, I won't mention her name because I haven't heard anything else from them yet, in regards to being an affiliate. I did sign to be one of their affiliates, but and they asked me about testing their air assist and a few other things. I said I'll be glad to, but I've yet to hear back from anything from them. The one thing I would love to get my hands on for my system is a camera that works with the xTool that I can integrate in with my LightBurn. So if there are any sponsors out there that are watching that's not Intamans or Willy Wonka and you want to sponsor or help me out, I am looking to do an upgrade to the system with a camera. I know what happened now. Whenever I took the rotary up in order to change the position of the jaws, I put it back on its horizontal center, but I failed to change the vertical center, and it's lower on the glass than the previous. But it's all on the tape, so it's going to work. Now, the first thing that I noticed is this doesn't have as much burn on the tape, and that's going to be thanks to the air assist doing its job and blowing the debris off of the glass. Now, that may be counterproductive because that debris that was on the glass may have been helping to stop the laser from penetrating completely through the glass. So that may have been acting as a coating to help with the engraving. So I'll put some side-by-side pictures up here. Now what's a little interesting is if you look inside there, you can see the laser actually penetrated through and began to burn the opposite side of the tape through the glass. That did not happen with the first test piece because there was enough of the muddled, melted tape and adhesive that didn't get blown away that it stopped the laser from penetrating through the glass. So I'll be anxious to see how this turned out compared to the first one. Okay, so this will be test engrave 3. The difference with this one is leaving the air assist on, but I've added an inner liner of tape. So I've got a tape around the exterior of the glass, and I've got tape on the interior of the glass. Leaving the air assist on, not changing anything else. Let's see what happens. There's a lot more burn, even though we use the air assist on this. This is looking more like the first burn with all the, a little warm, with all the burn on the exterior. That looks more like the first burn test where we didn't use any air assist. And take a look inside there. So it burnt through both layers. But that layer stopped a lot inside, so I'm expecting to see more engraving on this glass than on either of the other two. But you'll have to stay tuned to find out. Okay, so if you've stuck around this long, you're a real trooper. But it's time for the payoff to see how the results turned out. I haven't told you about all the settings and all the different levels of testing. This is turning into a really long video, but it's an in-depth study on trying to understand and comprehend and get a better grasp of how to engrave glass efficiently and without all the work of that stupid cold compound that everybody's raving about. So let's take a look at the results here. Alright, so these are the 3 that I did today. This is the first one I did. Now each of these layers, each one of these text lines, I should say, were done with a different engraving and set of instructions. The top one was just done on a line. That's why it's a little, if you look real close, you can see there it's just the outline of the letters. It's not a complete fill. That's just a line. The second one was just a plain fill. Then the third one was a offset fill, and you can actually tell, now that I've zoomed in, you can actually see the lines per inch. Man, this is a good camera. But that's the offset fill. Where'd you go? Just lost my focus. There we go. So no air was done on the offset fill. Then the fourth one was I think a line after fill. Yep. And then my last one, which I think is the best result and possibly the best result of the whole day. Essentially that was a line after crosshatch followed by a flood fill. Now, if you understood all those terminologies, then you understood. If you don't, then you might want to continue to watch, and I'm going to go into detail and show you each of those layer setups. But that one was the 5th line on the first test, and I believe the best outcome all day long. But that was the first votive for today. Here's the second one. Now, it tells you exactly what it is. You want to know what the settings are. There's the settings. 15 millimeters a second, 100% power, single pass, 254 lines per inch. This one, no air assist. This one with air assist. That's the only thing that changed between these two votives, is the second one had the air assist. And as I said in the video, I think the air assist kept the surface cleaner, which allowed the laser to penetrate through the glass and not be as effective. So I think the air assist was actually a detriment. Well, I don't think it was, because I mean, there's proof. That's much better than that. Then the last one I did was a trial where I actually put tape on the inside of the glass and the outside of the glass. So there's 2 layers, inner and outer tape with air. 15 millimeters a second, 100% power, nothing else there changed. But if you look, it looks a little muddled. And it looks more muddled now that I've painted the interior. But what happened with this was actually kind of cool before I painted it. Because what actually took place is it engraved a mirror image on the inside of the glass, which you're not going to be able to see because I've got it all painted up. Well, you can see a little bit there. There is a mirrored image engraved on the interior. So from the outside, before I put that paint on there, it had a depth to it. It was really, there you can kind of see the eye and see the profile. You can see the inside of the glass from the outside, and it's really kind of neat. I don't think it works on a curved glass like this votive, but if you were engraving a flat piece of glass, say you're doing a piece of glass in a picture frame, that might actually be kind of a unique look. But for regular engraving, hands down today, the first engrave, and it was a crosshatch line after fill with a flood fill. There was 4 different sub layers within that layer to accomplish that bottom line. But that turned out nice, using nothing but Scotch masking tape, painter's tape. That's all. Wipe that glass down, put a piece of tape on it, sent the job, and it looks good. No 24-hour, no spray painting, no $10 can of paint. This was the way, if I'm going to be doing glass, it's going to be done with painter's tape. Alright, now, I promised you I'd show you my settings if you're still watching. If you're watching to this point and you haven't subscribed to my channel, shame on you, because you obviously have been taking away something or felt some value in the videos. So, where are you at? There you are. Do me a favor. Subscribe. Hit that button. No, that, my hands away. Hit that button, right? Where's the, I can't, there, right? There, hit it. Okay, so I told you I would show you my exact settings and layers and setup, so let's get right to it. Get into LightBurn. All right, this was the very first votive engraved today, and the bottom layer is the bottom line here. The black layer is the one that had the best results in my personal opinion. Now I'll go to my cuts and layers. All right, as I mentioned, the top layer is a single line, no fill, no special settings, just a single line engrave. Second line, the red layer, was a simple fill. Third line was an offset fill, and in the lines 4 and 5 are where I had the multiple task. Line 4 is a line after fill, so it has your main layer here of a fill in a bidirectional with no overscanning, 254 lines per inch. After it done the fill, came back in with the same power and settings, 5 millimeters a second, 100% power, and did a line, and that just gives a cleanup line around each letter to give you some definition. But the one that had the best result was the last one. Technically, this was a crosshatch with a line after fill followed by a flood fill. But for those who don't completely follow all of that, I'd put it on 4 layers instead of 3, 4 sub layers. The first layer was, all of this was done at the 15 millimeters. In fact, that one was, I've changed these. That one was at 15. All these were done at 15 millimeters. I've been playing with this all day long, but this was the first engrave. 15 millimeters a second, 100% power, done on just a straight horizontal, bidirectional, no overscanning. And then the second sub layer was the same thing, but on a vertical instead of a horizontal. So the scan angle was at 90 degrees. So technically that is the crosshatch, but I did it on a sub layer for people who are not familiar with crosshatch yet. So 0 scan angle, 90-degree scan angle, and that's right here. Then after the 2 fills, it was followed up by a line after fill. And I think this right here was the key that made the whole thing look the best. This is the fill after the crosshatch and line, but it's a flood fill. All right, if you haven't watched the video that I made 2 videos. I did one that was a fill versus offset fill, and then a wonderful YouTube YouTube watcher, when someone watching my video mentioned, hey, you might want to look at the flood fill. I had heard of flood fill, hadn't found flood fill, didn't know about flood fill until he clued me in on it. So I researched it, found it, and there it is. It's under, I'm on the fill line, this tab here, but you have to come down here to the advanced tab within that layer to find it, and you have to click there to turn on that flood fill. What is flood fill? You need to watch that other video, and that video was fill versus offset fill versus flood fill. Very informative video. You need to watch that. Now, just a preview of these in action. So we'll tell her okay, and go back to preview, and we're going to blow this up and move me out of the way. And we're at 10 times speed. Bring her down. Bring here. Come on. There we go. All right. So that first layer was a line only, giving you an outline of each individual layer, and then move to the next line. This one was the fill only, single pass on a 0 scan angle, fill only. Now the offset fill. Now these are both fills. This is fill, this is offset fill. And if you see there, that's moving on a 0 scan angle, left to right, left to right. But then when you get to offset fill, it's going to fill each individual letter until it's complete, then move to the next one, starting at the center of the letter and moving its way out. So that's offset fill. This one was fill, which is the same as the second line, but then here's where it's different. After it finishes, it does a line after fill, which is coming around each letter just to clean that up and give it some real good definition. But the piece de la resistance, the absolute best one of the day is this one. We have a fill on a 0 scan angle, fill on a 90-degree scan angle, Then after that, we've got that same line after fill that just happened up above, but on a single fill. Once we finished with the line, this was what made it, I think, the best out of all of it, was that flood fill. Now I'm going to slow this down to 2-speed, hit play. Now you're just watching the flood fill. There it is. It works like a pressure washer. It's going in and just pressure washing all those little bitty pieces of glass out of there. And I think that's really what gave it the definition that made that line look so good. I may be wrong, but I think that was the trick. So, if you're still watching, thank you. You're awesome. But let me show you that one more time so you can see that, because I think this is what you've been looking for and hoping to see. Because it's more to, hey, what was your power settings? They've got that and they checked out. They missed out on some of the best information. So I did 2 layers of fill, followed by a line, and then the last one, the flood fill. Like I said, you could actually, if I were to get rid of this second fill there, get rid of that, go to this first one and make it a crosshatch right there. It's the same thing. That's giving you the horizontal and the vertical, and then a line after fill. And then if you haven't seen this flood fill, I'm telling you, go back, watch, find that video of mine, fill versus offset, fill versus flood fill. Watch those. It's some valuable information on how to save some time on doing an engraving. And in this instance, when you're engraving glass, I think that flood fill is the really the kicker here. And you know what? You don't need to waste all your time and money buying that stupid compound. All you need is some stinking painter's tape. Works great. So, thank you for watching up to this point. I'm going to show you a picture of all of the votives I've done in the last 2 days. And I again, if you've stuck with this long, hit that subscribe button. Nope, there it is. Hit that subscribe button right over there. I really appreciate any and all of my viewers. If you have any comments, any constructive criticism, anything that you can share, maybe something that I knew but I forgot and I need you to help me, or if you just appreciate what you're seeing, let me know. Something else I've been playing with, and if you'd like to see the process, let me know that too. Piece of china. Grandma's china. Nobody wants grandma's china anymore. I've got so much of this, it's not even funny. I buy storage lockers, and people have this stuff stored everywhere. And I've got all this china. This is pre-war china. This is made in Japan before the war. This is 72 years old. Nobody wants it. It's quality, but nobody wants it. But so I took this and I did this. Now it's off center because it was a test piece, but I engraved my logo and then put a gold inlay in there, and it looks pretty decent. So I've got a bunch of this that I'm going to probably create a jig to where I can get this in there and get it centered. And then this is a saucer. I've got big plates, and I'm probably going to do a lot of inspirational, give us this day our daily bread, that kind of thing. Make some easels with the laser and create little art pieces out of the china. Nobody wants the china, but Mike could sell the art. So again, thanks for watching. If you want to see that process on the china, let me know. This way, no, this way. Hit the subscribe and look for the picture of the recap. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.